Hi, this is Steve Kubby, and I'd like to welcome you to the first episode of Kubby TV. Now, this is a show that's about the drug war. It's about this insane war on people and plants. And it's about the lies and the spin that we're being given. Now, let me give you an example. We just had this announcement by the Justice Department and Eric Holder. Well, it's nice. We appreciate the words, but we've learned that those words don't mean anything until the laws get changed. And no laws have been changed. No one's being released from prison. No one's put an end to the war on medical marijuana dispensaries. In fact, right after Eric Holder made his announcement, the U.S. Attorney for Northern California, Melinda Haag, said, well, it's not going to change anything that we're doing here in California. So there is a need for a command center, for a place where the truth will be spoken about this insane war, and we don't fall for the spin and the BS that's being thrown at us. And that's why we've started Kubby TV, to give you the information that you need and that will help you deal with a government that's determined to declare war against you. Now, if you look up the definition of terrorism, you'll find that terrorism is defined as the use of violence for political change, for political purposes. And that's exactly what's going on in this drug war. And I think the worst example of that is that the government is waging war on families. And tomorrow, we're going to show you examples of instances where people are shot, their kids are killed, horrible things happen to people just on the allegation that marijuana is involved. So we need to understand that the war is still continuing, or as the talking heads used to say, same as it ever was. Now, each of us has an obligation to engage in this war, because if you turn your back, it will still come and find you. So we will talk about the people and the efforts being made to bring real freedom and sanity to this insane war by our own government on us. And I'd like to go now to an interview that I did with Vivian McPeak, the founder of Seattle Hempfest. And I think Vivian personifies the individual citizen making change possible. I mean, he was thrilled the first time that they had 500 people show up for Hempfest, and little did anyone imagine that Hempfest would quickly grow to 250,000 people, which is all that it can accommodate right now. So let's take a moment and listen to some words from one person who's made a big difference for all of us. And I give you Vivian McPeak.
One of the reasons I got involved in the cannabis policy reform movement is that first of all, I'm a counterculture person from the old school. And the cannabis leaf has been a symbol of counterculture since the 1960s. But more importantly, growing up in California in the early 70s, I had some friends that were really good friends of mine that were older than me. And they were some of the most responsible, loving, caring parents that I've ever known in my life. Awesome, beautiful, gentle people. And they had two small kids, and they had 5 pot plants growing in their backyard. And they were busted for it. And the father was sent to prison, and it broke up the family. And they lost their home, and their children were given to foster parents who told them that their parents were criminals, didn't love them. And I watched this family get destroyed, this man lose his family and his freedom, this couple lose their kids, and it had a huge impact on me. And I said to myself that if I ever got involved in any kind of activism, that cannabis reform was going to be one of the types of activism I was going to do.
Well, I think that was a pretty inspiring talk by Vivian, and I know that change is not going to come from the politicians. It's not going to come from electing somebody president or senator or governor. It's going to come from us. It's our responsibility. You know, it's like Dennis Perron said, our suffering is what makes change. So I hope that this show has communicated to you a feeling that a lot of us have, a feeling of frustration, that we've had it, we're fed up. We know this drug war is a failure. We know it's just to keep the cops with fat budgets and new cars. So we're not going to take it anymore. And if you're like me, you want to do something about it, and you want to know what other people are doing about it. And that's why we have this show, and that's why I'm asking you to come join us every day and be a part of making a real difference in this world. This has been Steve Kubby for Kubby TV. Thanks for joining us.
It's the proximity of what I hope to be, the weight so heavy where I stand.